I won't even hold you. That's what the core sellers won't admit when they can't even sell their watches that they get. I don't even collect watches like that, and I already know that the problem out there is the liquidity, not my watch. Somebody tried to offer me $40 for a Hugo. You're tripping. My boy retail 250. Um, Resale at least 150 to the right buyer. If you don't know that, I'm not selling you the Hugo for 40. I gotta at least get 75 and probably at least 100 because I will argue you could sell it for 175. This is barely used, but unfortunately, them pawn shop guys, they think they know it all. You don't, you need to make a bad deal. That's what you use pawn shops for. But anyways, sorry, I got some gum. So basically, bro, we're talking about say in your cutting phase during winter. So what I've done here is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to flip the camera. Hold on. This is the setup right now. This is the setup right now. And with that said, I like that NVIDIA chip, whatever is in there. Anyways, this is the setup. I just go like this to balance, then the second hand, but never the second hand first because it'll tip. So always this hand first. Hold on, I have to put something down. So basically, the idea is that you want to still be getting in as much cardio as possible because if you're not going to be able to get your daily steps in, you have to compensate in a different way that's not going to tear down your muscle. So there's that. And it's also about not giving up on the idea of lifting, even if you can't afford a gym membership. I'm switching back to bodyweight training because all the gym memberships, it's mission impossible. So how should I explain it? Basically, bro, like with these gym memberships now, because the inflation rate, they're tripling and doubling in price, and it's unsustainable. So eventually they're gonna have to accept a form of currency. I don't have time to wait for that switch, so I'm switching back to body weight in an attempt to relearn loving lifting because I used to be a bodybuilder, and what took the fun out of it was when I noticed when I stopped caring about health and it was just for size. And then I pushed my physique so far to the point where I was almost pre-diabetic in the name of bulking. And I had to make a choice. I had to give up the idea of bodybuilding in order to not continue to fuck up to the degree where I'm pre-diabetic still consuming, not now, but back then at least, still consuming and over consuming foods. When I was homeless, essentially I was so caught up into day-to-day meals and not starving, I would just eat and eat and eat because in my head, if I lose muscle, I'm messing up my future, and to some degree I was right, but also to the same degree I was wrong because I was told to lose weight medically, like professionally. So that's the priority for me right now. Thank God cutting really that big of a problem once I get into it, once I get that flow. But people been trying to fuck up my flow in bodybuilding for years. People always trying to get me to take time off the gym because they know as soon as I do that, I beat them in a way that they can't succeed. And it's not that I want them to not succeed. They just want others to fail because they choose failure. They choose to not try. They choose to not spend the extra money on treadmill equipment. You got your backup treadmill already, put away somewhere. So if something goes wrong with this one, you can still work out. And that's the idea. Sorry if the microphone quality went bad. I realized my hand was covering it up. But that's the idea. Because as soon as you give up those daily steps, that daily step goal, then you fall behind, you fall back, fall forward, fall forward, fall forward. But it's like, you can't just say it though, you gotta do it. Fail better, fail better, fail harder, try again, begin again, begin again, begin again. And that's bodybuilding. That's bodybuilding, begin again. Because you know how many people try to make fun of me for becoming this size when all I've done in life is get bullied because of my size. Bitch, please, I'm 210. You're not gonna shake me up that easy. You're not gonna shake me up that easy. Because the way of the world, they want you to believe that if you put on a little bit of fat while you achieve muscle growth, that you're a failure. That's not true. If you're natural, you sometimes have to put on stupid amounts of fat and know how to get it off the right way. Because what would happen to me is I would get discouraged mid-bulk, not because of the haters, but because of mental health. And I would oftentimes forget that the muscle underneath, if you let that atrophy after you bulk, your cut is going to be harder when you decide. So make sure you keep up that muscle stimuli so that you can maintain as much muscle as possible during the cut, so that it's not pointless. Because there's no point in bulking and cutting just to end up at the exact same body weight as you started. So it's about doing it fast enough to where you can get it off, but slow enough to the point where you can retain muscle, but you have to find that sweet in between. Because any direction too far, like, okay, then your body starts prioritizing muscle retention and you don't lose as much fat, and then you go from losing half a pound a week to a quarter pound a week. Or if you're carb cycling, or any other techniques of macro manipulation with diet besides protein, you're either manipulating fats or carbs to lose weight, never the protein. So with that being said, it's like, how do you get back? So what I'm about to do, because the government is about to freeze up again, I'm about to go load up on a fuck ton of tuna. Them bitches got 20 grams of protein for 49 cents. I'm taking as much as I can fucking get before the government shuts down again next month. Because that'll be the month where, unfortunately, bad stuff happens in the economy. So I have to think ahead of time. Peanut butter, oats, tuna cans, base, because I need that protein source, that carb source. And